The idea came about just to help students because I wanted to have a wider reach, I guess. So that's how the first idea came about. And from then, there's been no looking back. I could have never imagined that I would receive such an overwhelming response because it uh, it was my first experience. I mean, I don't have any formal training in writing. I'm not a professional writer.
What's better than helping thousands of people achieve their dreams? Well, earning 25 lakhs for doing it. Gurleen Khaira, a professional English language trainer, published her book, The OET Writing Strategy Guide, and helped hundreds of healthcare professionals pass the OET exams and achieve their dreams of working abroad. And she earned 25 lakhs in the process. We asked Gurleen how she did it, and this is what she had to say.
So could you share a bit about your journey as a professional English language trainer and what inspired you to write your book?
I started working as an OET trainer in 2016. And in that year, I realized that there weren't many resources because OET at the time was still gaining traction in India. So the health professionals, especially doctors and nurses, were struggling for preparatory resources. So that's how the idea came about. I wanted to help them and provide as much practice material as there could be for exam building and creating awareness about the test format. That's how the idea for the first two books came about. And the third one, the third book, which I've published with Notion Press, the OET Writing Strategy Guide, is a skill building workbook. So when I got a good response to the first two books, and I was very happy with the sales, there was an overwhelming response by the audience. I got encouragement from OET as well. Following the first two books, I got a chance to publish with Cambridge University Press. I guess I have to thank Notion Press for establishing my credibility as an author for that. So I published third book in 2019, which was a workbook, a skill building resource. And that's doing really well these days. I get notifications about sales almost every other day. So that's been my journey up until now.
Congratulations on that. I wanted to know what was the biggest challenge that you noticed healthcare professionals faced before your book came into being? How did publishing your book help healthcare professionals achieve their dreams of working abroad?
So OET is one of the licensing tests they need to register with the medical councils and then eventually find a job. So many students who use these books are now working as registered nurses or doctors in the choice of countries, whether it's Australia, New Zealand, US, or United Kingdom, and Ireland. So I guess it helped them land their dream job.
So I have to ask the very obvious question. What made you decide to publish with Notion Press, and how was your publishing experience?
My publishing experience was great. I've been recommending Notion Press to everyone who consults me. And I initially consulted in 2017 when I decided to publish the first book. I contacted many publishing houses. The very first conversation, I think I could just tell that the team is very supportive. I had complete freedom over the content, which was an issue with some existing publishing houses in the market. The team was the editing team that I came into contact with was very understanding, and the timely responses were, phenomenal. So that was one gap which I think the other publishing houses sort of struggled with at the time, because I've had friends who've published with other brands as well. So I think right from the inception till the publishing, it was a very smooth experience. Anytime I reach out, even now, whether it's a query about a royalty payment or anything, the team is very responsive and very friendly, very, very understanding to talk to. I think with the rapport building process, the team has been trained very well. So that makes, I think, the whole experience very satisfying overall.
I'm very grateful that you had such a pleasant experience. And circling back, I have to ask, you did mention that a lot of healthcare professionals did achieve their career goals of working in the US, UK. Could you share one specific success story that made you realize the sort of achievement that your book is?
So I think 2 years ago, I received a text on Facebook from a student in Korea, and I could have never imagined that someone in Korea would read my book. So that student purchased it online and she passed her exam, and afterwards she reached out to me through Facebook, thanking me that my book was helpful, and she self-studied and she was able to pass her exam in the first attempt. So for me, that was truly rewarding because one, it's a completely unexplored market. I would have never imagined that I could have reached a student of that country. So that for me is truly special. Other than that, I've received great reviews on Amazon, and people do reach out to me, thanking me and telling me that they find it useful. Not just the students, I'd say even other language schools are using this book. So from time to time, I'm told that my books are being used as preparatory resources in the classroom by competing language schools. And I think that's the biggest compliment.
How did it feel when you saw your first reviews, or when you got the first feedback from the people that read your book and passed their exams?
I was over the moon. I could have never imagined that I would receive such an overwhelming response because it uh, it was my first experience. I mean, I don't have any formal training in writing. I'm not a professional writer. So the idea came about just to help students. Is I wanted to have a wider reach, I guess. So that's how the first idea came about. And from then, there's been no looking back. So I think if you're talking about the first feeling, I couldn't have imagined. Maybe I was just uh, walking around in a trance for a few days because it was unbelievable for me. And even now, when I receive a message that conveys gratitude for the work that's helped them in any way, so it's truly gratifying.
So publishing this book has sort of put you up as the expert in this field. How do you say that you've done that?
So I think it's helped me expand my professional footprint because the opportunity to get published with Cambridge came only after they saw that I had written two other books, which were with Notion Press. So I don't think that opportunity would have come to me otherwise. So I was able to establish myself as a subject matter expert. I think people started noticing the work I have done in training health professionals for OET. And I was based out of Amritsar at the time for a small scale school. A teacher who's maybe training 10 to 15 students a month wouldn't have been recognized at a global level had it not been for the books.
So what has been the most rewarding part of publishing a book?
I guess the recognition that came with it. I mean, I'd say that the first two books with Notion Press, which I published in 2017 and 18, they truly, were a stepping stone for me to move forward. I learned a lot. I think it's been a steep learning curve for me also, but like I said, it helped me establish myself, established my credibility in the industry, and of course, helped me evolve as a teacher in the process.
So how did it feel when you came to know that your book hit this many sales and made so much in revenue?
I didn't know actually that it had hit so many sales because with monthly payments, I guess I was not really counting. And it's just when I was told last year, uh, it was truly a proud moment, not just for me, but for anyone associated with me. My parents are super proud of it. My friends who noticed this on Instagram reached out to me. There were many others who contacted me about Notion Press and how my experience was. And I told them how streamlined and how satisfying it was. I think the feeling has been great. There's no way to put it into words.
That's wonderful. With that, we've come to the end of our interview. Thank you so much for participating. Really appreciate it.
It was my pleasure.
If you have any publishing related queries, drop them in the comments down below. For more such content, subscribe to Notion Press. Happy publishing!